Good morning, good morning. So, I don't know if I'm just desperately wanting progress on something or what's going on, but I know that I need to shift the garden over, and looking at that and setting up the beds, I really want to get my beds going. That's part of my problem. And so, one of the things I'm running into is we have a garden system that is not currently connected that goes to these heads in this little garden section. And I bought a 75-foot soaker that I can use for either back here or for the front. And I'm torn because I think most of my planting is going to be out front or in buckets back here, which I can water separately for at least for the fall. And then this part won't be used until probably spring planting. Hopefully if the compost is far enough along. If it's not, then I don't know, we'll have to reevaluate. So you're probably wondering, why is she wandering on about this? And the reasoning is because I know I want to look and see if we can figure out how to make that system work, right? We can't afford the plumber right now. This bed would be great to sheet garden in. And then also putting a bed right here, because I apparently really wanted to start my sheet gardening. So I could get those two started today. But odds are, given where these things are, if there's piping, I don't know. See, the piping could run right along the wall, which would make sense. Or it could be off of here and running straight that way with a small V. I don't know. I don't know enough about automated systems for watering. And so I think that's part of what has me hesitating. And like out front, I know that I have some that go along the bushes, but there aren't any in the trees. And that one I'm going to check in just a little bit after the cats are done with their supervised outside time. They get so annoyed. They love going outside, but they hate that we supervise them so closely, because here there's a lot of hawks, but even in South Carolina, South Carolina, that's a throwback. Woo. Even in Utah and Idaho, there are hawks that are big enough to carry away little Klaus. And we would be devastated if any of our animals disappeared. I think James would not survive if Klaus disappeared. Klaus is the one that causes James the most anxiety. He's his soul animal. So anyway, I'm going to give them a little bit more time, and then I'll look at the front, and then I'll figure it out. But in a little bit, I'm going to be doing a fun video about my composting, my sustainability. My composting is going great. My sustainability glass breaking thing, we are having to adapt. And that is another proof of a strong program leader, is willingness and ability to adapt to changing information. So we're going to be doing some adapting, and I'm going to walk you guys through that in a little bit with a new video. But if anybody has any feedback or suggestions about older systems, because they weren't sure if it worked. That's what they told us. Oh yeah, there's systems, we don't know if they work. Which tells me they probably are broken somehow. But is it worth going through the hassle of fixing and replacing those? Or would it make more sense to just plan to build off of the automated process and put in new pipe as needed? Or should I just focus with above ground soaker lines, which originally, before we knew what house we were buying, I was planning on above ground soaker lines anyway, just because it's easier for me to see and maintain. Even though I know that does leave it more exposed to other damage. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on Kaido. He wanders a little bit more than Klaus. It's like Klaus knows. Kaido doesn't care. Anyway, so those are some of the things rolling around in my head as I am working on this plan and figuring out how we do this with our limited budget and around job searching. So yeah, any insight for anybody who has more experience with automated systems, even if your insight is here's some really good people to watch their videos on YouTube. That's what I've been doing for like the last week or so. And I plan on doing for a little bit longer. And I keep telling myself I don't have to start the sheet garden yet. I can wait until I have my bricks. It'll be easier and cleaner once I have my bricks. So just hold off. But it's now July 12th. And I'm starting to get a little bit of anxiety about getting it in a timely manner so that I'll be able to plant in the fall for my spring garden. So, yep, that's all the things that are motivating me right now. And any insight, any feedback, any recommendations on who to follow when it comes to automating sprinkler systems, especially in a desert environment, would be appreciated. And until next time, keep growing.